I don't know what the thing was. Alright. Let's make sure it's built. There we go. Now it's going. Alright. YouTube is on. Twitch is on. TikTok is on. I may not always check the chat, but if you're here, welcome. So in the mornings, I will be streaming as much as I can on YouTube and Twitch. And if you're on TikTok and you want to watch my lives, go to on YouTube. You can go to at Christian Content 05 or Daniel's Media. And on Twitch, if you want to watch there, it's Jesus First Player. And that night I'll be streaming Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. And we'll be listening to the podcast as well. Check out Linktree/Daniel's Media, Linktree/Take Me Deeper Podcast, and Linktree/Chairs of the Hill. If you want to help me raise money for the Take Me Deeper podcast, go to ko-fi.com/Daniel's Christian Content. Or slash. Dash? Is dash the line and the slash? I don't know. ko-fi.com/Daniel's Christian Content. And I'm trying to find. You can also email the podcast. This is the Take Me Deeper podcast. Go to takemedeeperpodcast@gmail.com. So, with all that being said, we are going to listen to the Take Me Deeper podcast on Spotify. Please enjoy the live and enjoy the podcast. If I can get there. I'm usually more organized than this, but today I am not. It's just so stinking hot. Alright. Here we go. And just warning, it might be a little light on the screen.
I don't know what you want from me. I can't take direction.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I love it. Sorry.
No, you're good. Squirrel.
Edit.
But you know, when you that was you. I love the funny shows. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, any of but, yeah, I mean,
but anyway, no, we do. We
I'm
hope
never gonna not change it.
room noise cancellation off, stuff like that.
Noise cancellation
On. Anyway, that's all right.
Auto-tune.
Oh, we're auto-tuned.
Deeper
Well,
podcast
never
is a
mind.
ministry
I was
of
going to start
Matthias
singing.
Christian.
No, don't do it.
I will be completely honest. I don't know what's going on with this podcast. So, Yeah, so it might be just a little muffled as well. So, sorry about that. I am not the editor.
Davis Road, Machias. Our service times are Sunday morning,
So,
6:30, 8:30,
Sorry.
and
Edit.
10:30. We observe communion on the third Sunday of every month. Sunday evenings, junior and senior high youth group meet at MCF from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Monday evenings at 7 p.m. we have the Arise Addiction Recovery meeting. On the third Monday of each month, they have a potluck and testimony night, which starts at 6 p.m. We have prayer meeting on Wednesday night at 5:15 p.m., followed by our midweek service Wednesday night at 6:30.
The Bright Arrow Group is a fellowship ministry of MCF. Donations to this ministry can be made through the church website at ccmachias.com. Arise Addiction and Recovery, helping people find freedom from addiction through a personal relationship with our Lord Jesus Christ. For more information on their website at ariseaddictionrecover.com, the church website also has a donation button. Coastal Crowns make handmade hats stitched with care right here in Maine. They are all about that laid-back coastal lifestyle. Built for the dock, the boat, and the weekend grind. Find them on Facebook. Message Coastal Crowns, Dallas Richardson, or Brooke Davis for more information. Frame to Finish Carpentry LLC is a new business started by Joshua Earl. He will be doing carpentry and light construction. Contact number 207-263-5706.
Righteous Roofing and Renovations, call 263-8368.
Eastern Wildlife Management's the name of my ministry. We have a Facebook page, and you can reach out to us on there, 207-598-8257. Tyler Farrington, FARRINGTON, 11@yahoo.com.
Daniel Hill, Daniels Media, Photography and Videography, Media Design. Daniels Media at myyahoo.com is his business email. Daniels Media is also on Facebook, focused on photography. His YouTube is at Daniels Media -P1N, is focused on Bible content, live streams. Instagram, Daniels_Media 5721, is focused on Bible content and photography. Treasures of the Hill is a handmade crafting business of Amanda Hill, editor of this podcast, and my wife. Items include a wide variety of handmade, customizable options. She makes up the merchandise we have available. Check out the website at treasuresofthehill.com or contact Amanda through Facebook on the Treasures of the Hill Facebook page. Thank you for listening to Take Me Deeper. We are now available on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. Our Facebook page is Take Me Deeper Podcast, where you can interact with other listeners and the creators. And you can also email us at takemedeeperpodcast@gmail.com. Welcome back to Take Me Deeper. I am Casey Hill.
And I'm Nate Dudley.
We're just really glad to be here. Just so everybody knows, we're going to be in Job chapter 1. And Casey has no idea what it is we're doing. So we're taking a break this podcast. We've had a lot of stuff happen. I'm going to start with the least of the thing that happened. 3 times over the last couple of weeks, my family has had and lost heat, and we've had all these parts and pieces replaced. So I made in a text with a bunch of people saying, hey, our house is finally a little bit toasty. And I was trying to, I didn't want to I didn't want to take any, I wasn't trying to, hey, we haven't had heat. I wasn't trying, and I didn't want to be like, hey, we got the furnace fired up. I was trying to really avoid things. And this guy gets on the chat message and goes, well, my house was really toasty last Saturday. And I was like, I was not going to go in that direction. And it only had to be Nate that could send a text like that.
It's only me.
So, for those of you who are on Facebook, you saw the video that Nate put out. But for those who don't have the Facebook page, quickly give us a rundown of how it started and then,
Where we are now.
yeah.
Okay, so it was last Saturday. It's my habit to get up first in my family, and no matter what day of the week it is, I'm up at 5 o'clock. I get up and I take my dog out and I make a pot of coffee and I read my Bible for a little while, and then I post my proverb of the day and I share it with my Proverbs group. And then I just kind of hang out in my living room with my dog. I just sip coffee and I just chill out while it's quiet. And it was like every other day. The fire was going good in my wood stove, and my dog was sitting in front of it, just, soaking up all that heat. I took a really nice picture of him. Maybe I'll put that on the page. Everything was normal, and then around 7:30, 8 o'clock, people start filing down, waking up. My wife was downstairs around 7:30, quarter of, and we were just talking about the day. And I said, I have to go into Calais and test somebody for treatment court so I can make sure she got tested twice this week. I said, do you want to make a day of it? You can come with us and we can stop by Walmart or do whatever we need to do. She was, yeah, I think I can. There's some things we can go and get. So we were kind of going over the plans, and my middle son Gabe heard that we were going to Calais, and he decided that we were going to have lunch at King China. We had to tell him that that was not part of the plan. He was very, very upset about that not being a possibility, and his mood soured, and things kind of escalated a little bit from there. And then mom just said, you know what, you and me, we're going to stay here. We don't have to go, but dad does. So we basically we had that kind of discussion going off and on for about an hour, and then it was getting close to around 10:30, and I was like, well, I'm just going to shower and I'm going to get ready and head out. I think I left the house around 11 or so. I was making my way to Calais. I was either halfway or 2/3 of the way there. So I got a phone call from my daughter. She goes, Dad, the house is on fire. You need to turn around and come home. And as soon as she said that, I'm like, my foot's on the brake. And I'm literally whipping my truck around. And I switched it into 4-wheel drive at the exact same time. I don't know how I did it, but my right front passenger wheel went off the road and into the snow onto the shoulder. And I whipped it around, and I'm like,
Dukes of Hazard.
back going in the other. It wasn't like a rally style turn or anything like that. But I mean, I slowed down enough so I could turn, and I knew I wasn't going to flip my truck over.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was off the road, and then I had to go back through the frost heaves that I'd just gotten through, and I was back at the house by, I don't know, I think I may have been on the road for about 34 minutes.
Yeah.
It was fast. And then when I got there was like 3 different fire departments, and there was smoke pouring out of the attic vents on both sides of my house. They wouldn't let us go into the driveway. So I'm just kind of standing there on the side of the road, and I get another phone call, and it's either my daughter again or my wife saying, hey, we're right behind you. And they were hanging out at the garage portion of the Advance Auto that's next to my house.
Mm-hmm.
So we went in there, warmed up, and I was talking with my family and all that. And I just kept getting phone calls from my brothers. My brother John showed up, and he stood with me for a while we watched things outside, and we talked with different firefighters walking by, the guy who was conducting traffic. So basically, what happened, after the fact, I know this now, is somehow there was like a malfunction or something in equipment between the metal Vestas stove pipe that we had, like the chimney, versus the pipe that was connected to the actual wood stove itself. Somewhere in that connection, there was a failure and fire was able to get out, and it spread into our ceiling.
Yeah.
And it was making its way towards our front door. So,
Wow.
and the fire was basically burning up that whole enclosure where the chimney box was up to the top of the roof. And I guess right before my wife called 911, she said there was a spot on the wall that was turning black in our bedroom. when the fire department, I talked to them, they said that's where the first flames were coming out. So they had to knock that out. They had a guy in the attic spraying down through the attic, the air exchanger, so that the flames didn't come up into our attic because it's all blown insulation in there. If it had caught on the blown insulation, we would have just been like literally toast.
Mm.
I heard one of the guys say if we hadn't broken protocol, this house would have been a total loss. So he didn't say that to me,
Right.
but he said if we had gone by the book, this house would be gone.
Sometimes
But
you got to think outside
one
the
guy,
box.
the one guy, he got there first, and he said these old farmhouses, as soon as it gets to the attic, they're done. So he went right straight to the attic,
Mm.
and he started showering down. And then there was another one that opened up the wall in our bedroom where the chimney goes through, and they sprayed all that down. And then there was another one with a hose like spraying directly into our stove and up the chimney pipe. So, and then they clawed at the ceiling, and they had to put the ceiling out because the whole ceiling was on fire. So there was all that. I mean, I guess where we stand right now is we talked with our insurance adjuster, and he's putting his estimates together. We got our first cost of living check or whatever you call it. The fire mitigation guy, like he has a plan. As soon as the power's turned on and they can get the furnace running, they can get the house warmed up, a little bit of power to run their tools, and then they're gonna gut our living room. They're gonna gut the family room and part of our bedroom because that's where all the fire was. They're gonna spray everything down, scrape all the charcoal off the beams, try to leave everything as wood-like as possible, and then we're gonna have to have someone come in and rebuild. And they told us that it looks like the process will take about 2 or 3 months
Yeah.
in total. So that's kind of where we stand. We didn't lose any of our possessions per se. We are gonna have to get new beds, like new mattresses. We're gonna have to get new living room furniture, new TVs and stuff like that. But that is what it is.
Things that are replaceable.
Yeah, I mean, they're pulling up the floors, they're pulling off the walls, like it's gonna go right down to the studs again, basically.
Aaron said that Sunday before he started, he talked about just the devastation of walking in and there was just all that water.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, the fire department brings water to put
Yeah.
out a fire, and
Right.
the water has to go somewhere. And so what you have more than just flame damage is it's a lot of water damage.
Tons.
So
Smoke damage. It permeates every corner of the house.
Mhm.
Like everything smells like it.
Yep.
We've been stopping by at least once a day to kind of scrounge around for things that we kind of need.
Yeah.
And
Because you're living in an Airbnb, so you want some things
we
that
want some home comforts, right? We'll be in the Airbnb and we'll catch a whiff of that smell, and my wife has found this cleaner that really does a good job of taking that smell off of most of what we have. So I can only imagine that the mitigation people, they're going to do that on a large scale. And so, yeah, they're basically going to pack up everything in that house,
Mhm.
run it through their cleaning process, and then it's just going to be packed up in boxes. And I think they're just going to put it back in the bedrooms they got it from. But
Right.
they're going to be repainting all the walls, replacing any floors that need it, that sort of thing. So it's kind of where we're at.
Nate doesn't know I'm going to ask this question, so this is not him asking for anything. Can you tell people what your Venmo is over the mic?
Sure. It's at capital N, capital D, UDLEY.
And the reason I'm asking is because I know there are people that listen that
Mhm.
will want to help one way or another. So that is Nate's Venmo. And if you have anything that you want to send along to help out, just throw something in there. Dude, this is killing my heart because I mean I've been in your house a few times. This has been a really
It's not just the way that you remember it, but just filthy and wet and charcoal. It was like they had to go in there and just thrash stuff around to get to where they needed to go.
right.
It looks like those post-apocalyptic movies where the survivor of the bomb
Yeah.
is just scrounging through
Or like
houses,
4 people came into your house and threw everything everywhere trying to find.
ransack,
Yeah.
just so that everybody knows and anybody that might be interested in how did our pets do, the fire departments there were like, they knew that we had 3 cats, and they did not stop sweeping our house until they found all 3 of those cats. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. That's what they do.
And when they got the last one out, I mean, 3 departments, were all cheering. And the firefighter had my last cat, and his name is Henry. He is a large, chunky boy, and he's part Siamese,
Mm.
and he doesn't like you. And he goes, "This is the strongest cat I've ever experienced." But we also, right before we left, we went in and looked at the house, and we saw what we needed to see. I found like a big Tupperware bin, and I grabbed my turtle and my giant pleco that I named Roomba, and I put just enough water in it to keep him alive, and I also got my turtle out. Anybody who's been to my house has spent time with my turtle because he's awesome.
T likes that turtle.
He is very personable, and my pleco that I named Roomba is just impressive to look at because he's so big.
Hmm.
Yeah. So now we're in an Airbnb. We have a beautiful view of the ocean. We really do.
You really do. You've sent some pictures.
It's freaking windy though, man. It is so windy there. It's like the wind never dies down. It's crazy.
Right.
But yeah, it is very beautiful there. It has been very nice, and I think good for me to be able to just sip my coffee and look out the window and just look across the bay there.
So from the first Airbnb, you took a picture, and
Mhm.
we could see Campobello Island.
Yep.
Now from this Airbnb, I mean, obviously you have a different view.
It's a different view. Yeah,
But-
you can't see the ocean as well from this one, but
Okay.
it's in the same complex of buildings.
Okay.
Yeah. We spent the day in Bangor. We bought oversized suitcases. That's what we're living out of right now, sort of. We bought some more essentials that we needed, and we have a lease with this guy to be there until beginning of March, and then we are going to re-up the lease for another month or as needed.
Mm-hmm.
The only snafu we came up on was Valentine's Day weekend. We have to leave because it was reserved for somebody else. So all the stuff that we've moved in there, we're gonna have to pack it up and store it down in the basement
Oh, in the Airbnb.
at the Airbnb.
Okay.
He said we can store everything down in the basement.
Yeah. Lock the door and tell whoever's coming in, don't go down there.
Yeah.
People don't usually go in basements.
And
anyway,
then
but
we're gonna go to Portland that weekend, just because they have a big mall there and they have stuff that our Bangor mall does not have, because there really isn't a Bangor mall anymore. So I mean, I guess that's it. That's kind of the long and short of it. I wanted people to know that people always come up to you and they say, "How are you guys doing?" And it's like, I don't really know how to answer the question. We're fine.
But it sucks not being home.
It does. Here's what I
It's
tell.
one thing when you're on vacation.
I know.
You know you're coming back home.
Here's what I've been telling people. We have not experienced that great big traumatic PTSD. I can't believe that happened. Our family has not experienced that.
Right.
Because we didn't really lose everything. We still have everything.
Right.
We can get new couches and mattresses and a living room rug. Like, that's not a big deal. The thing that we're going through right now, and I'm sure Ian will agree, our sleep schedules are way off because it's not our beds, and it's an unfamiliar place. Once in a while we get a little testy with each other, because we're tired and we
Not
don't
home.
and we can't answer certain questions because we don't know the answers.
Yeah.
I know that kids want their parents to know things, but we've never done this before, so it's all very new. So we're all doing this together, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
All of that to say that I've been thinking about Job all week, and that's kind of where I wanted to go with this podcast today.
Yep.
Is that a good segue?
Yeah, because that was story time with Nate.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on with story time with Job.
Right.
Raging waters claimed our lives under the shelter of the cave. Israel, we have
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, we're going to be in Job chapter 1.
All right. I'll read this first section.
Go for it.
There was a man in the land of Uz, or Uz, whose name was Job. And that man was blameless and upright, and one who feared God and shunned evil. And 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. Also his possessions were 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 donkeys, and a very large household, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the east. And his sons would go and feast in their houses, each on his appointed day, and would send and invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. So it was, when the days of their feasting had run their course, that Job would send and sanctify them. And he would rise early in the morning and offer burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." Thus Job did regularly. First section.
Yeah. First section.
So the intro is this. There's a very wealthy man. He's got everything going for him. He's got a big family. He's got farms, animals, plenty of people to work. He's considered to be one of the wealthiest and most successful people in his area of that day.
Yeah. We read later in all the discussions that take place in Job that they were questioning his character, right? And he's
Yeah.
like, how many of you came to me when there was need? He had the supply or whatever. There's a consensus that these guys are trashing him, and he would bend over backwards, it seems.
He wasn't just wealthy for the sake of being wealthy.
That's right. He
He
used
was a
it.
benevolent person
Yep.
as well.
Exactly.
And the thing that I really love about this first section is he was a man who feared God.
Mm.
And he was so concerned that in all of his children's, they would throw birthday parties for each other. Basically what that's saying.
Right.
And he was like, I hope while they were celebrating, they didn't get too celebratory
Right.
and maybe, have some evil thoughts about anything. So he prayed for his kids, and who doesn't pray for their kids, right? But he was faithful to do that, So we're starting out with this man who he's got everything. He's a prominent person in society and in his day and age or whatever. He's considered one of the elites.
Mm.
But it doesn't seem like he's one of those people who, what's the lady's name in the Gremlins movie? The mean one.
Yeah.
Mrs. Deagle.
Deagle.
She's got all that oil money, but she's just a bitter person.
Yeah.
Right? He's not like that.
Right.
He's the opposite of that. He's like Scrooge at the end of A Christmas Carol.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's Job. Okay.
Yeah. So that's Job. And doing some study and research and whatnot, it is fun to think that he was around the same time of like Abraham, Isaac. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that are fun for me. I like thinking like, wait a minute, hold on a second. The general consensus is this is the oldest book.
Yeah, written. The
oldest written.
Yeah.
Right. I wonder who wrote it. I want to know like who was the person that knew Job and just sat back and wrote that all down.
Yeah.
We could say it was Job, but I mean, kind of weird to be saying there was a man named Job, So with scholars, they're like, we have no idea who wrote this. But somebody was paying attention and just like, oh, wow, this is something.
I just had a really weird thought, but I'm not going to talk about it on the air.
Oh, no.
On the air.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. We'll leave that alone. We'll let everybody go. I wonder what Nate was thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, to the fact that he says, I don't know if my kids have sinned. So I'm going to go and sacrifice and pray. Again, like you said, he did it regular. This was a normal thing.
Right.
You got 7 daughters and 3 sons. So that's 10.
Other way around.
7 sons, 3 daughters.
Yeah.
Him and his wife. And if this was if you
and a large household, that means he had.
Yeah, so at least once a month you're having a birthday party, right?
We'll call them employees.
So like once a month you're having a birthday party.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, that's a lot of, and he's right though. He's right to think that way because whether somebody meant to get into something they shouldn't have, like a drink or whatever, you don't know what anybody's going to be saying. So yeah, that's.
Yeah, and when you're in a celebratory mood and the wine is flowing, you're open to compromise.
Yeah.
You know, he's not stupid.
No, he knows the human heart.
Yeah.
It says that right at the beginning, like you said, he feared God.
Yeah.
And he shunned evil. And so
Yeah.
he was just like, this isn't going to be something that's just gonna, don't let the sun go down on your anger kind of thing comes to my mind, where he's like, I'm not letting the sun go down without getting in front of God.
Yeah.
You know, first thing in the morning, getting in front of God or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. You know, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So in verse 6, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. And the Lord said to Satan, from where do you come? So Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro on the earth and from walking back and forth on it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and shuns evil? So Satan answered the Lord and said, does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But now stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. And the Lord said to Satan, behold, all that he has is in your power, only do not lay a hand on his person. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord.
Everybody always goes to the first part, right?
Yeah.
God looks at Satan and says, hey, have you
right.
considered that guy? Oh my goodness. Like,
can you please not mention my name?
Can you?
I don't want any extra attention.
Like, that's, I'm just, okay, look. Like, hey, have you considered, who you gonna, well, whose name are you putting out there? Man, like, it is one thing to be like, you have that one really awesome worker or whatever, and they're doing like 50 different things, and you're like, I wonder if they can take 51. You know?
Well, there's also the thing where,
dang, come on.
There's also that thing where when you bring attention to a certain worker, like in an office, it tends to spark jealousy.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Like, even if everybody else is working hard too, there's something in us that just gets really jealous when attention is called towards someone, and the boss is really like making a big deal over that one person in the office.
Yeah.
And some people might be thinking he doesn't do anything, or you know what I mean? But but the boss saw something. That's the point.
No, that's it.
The boss saw something.
Yeah. Have you considered my servant Job? I'm just kind of like, man, is that, that is God bragging, right? That's God bragging or boasting about Job's character. It's not like he's saying he's a fantastic guy and he does all the right things. He literally says he's blameless and upright. God's bragging. He's saying there's not a man like him on earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and shuns evil. This isn't him saying like, oh, he's got a bazillion animals and a bazillion children and a bazillion servants. He's saying you can't bring a charge against this guy. You cannot break down his love that he has for his God. So that's, I think that in that, man, if you could see his face, right, it would be like, man, that guy just really understands what it means to have a true relationship with me. Have you considered that guy? And gosh, I just wonder the look on Satan's face of, I got me plans.
It also probably infuriated him too, because he hates us.
Because he was number 2, yeah. I mean, he was like the number 1 angel we suspect, right? Right. He was the most beautiful angel. So for him to look at him and go, that guy he knows how to love me. The
last thing he wants to do is consider anybody that's below him.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't even think about it that way.
So it's like God is saying, this guy's better than you.
Yeah. This guy knows how to love me. You don't. You have no idea.
Yeah, he's blameless and upright. What happened to you?
Yeah. So now let's back up, because that's one of the places I love to read is that part over and over again. But let's go back to verse 6 where it says that the sons of God came and presented themselves in front of God. Because the one thing that people will always say is evil can't be in front of God.
Mm.
But Satan and his little minions are right here in front of God. They seem to have open access to the throne.
At that point in time, they do.
Mm,
Yep. I don't know how God's courtroom works.
there you go. You know
But-
how a courtroom works.
Well, I do. The judge can call anyone up to the bench that he wants.
Right?
So it's up to him who approaches the bench. If you're not supposed to be there, then the marshals come and they haul you out.
Interesting thought.
Yeah,
So he knew they were coming.
of course.
Open the
he's
gate up,
God.
let him in.
Yeah.
Right? You don't go in front of the king. Think about in Esther's day. She was afraid to go up to the king. Mordecai's like, go to the king. And she's like, I anyone who goes in front of the king uninvited, they get killed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So you just said that the judge can pull up anybody he wants. You don't just walk up there because you're going to get pulled away.
Right.
So here comes Satan and his angels, and God's obviously like, hey, where you been?
Well, he must have
Where you
invited.
been?
He must have invited them up there.
He had to have.
Well, this
I'm-
whole thing's a setup. When you read
Oh,
it,
yeah.
I mean, it's not like God just was like,
Surprise!
oh, hey, I was just thinking about one of my children down there. I was watching him and he's doing pretty awesome. Like, have you seen this guy? Like, it's a big setup.
Yeah.
It's obviously a big setup. I mean, God doesn't ask questions without knowing the answer anyway.
Right.
And the cool thing is, obviously there's a lot more to Job than what we're going to address today, but God knows the outcome of this whole situation.
Right.
So he obviously has a plan for Job. This is how he starts his plan in motion.
I think it's funny from verse 9 to 11. Is Satan questioning the character of Job, or is he questioning the character of God?
It's not Job.
It is
Because-
not, is it?
Because Satan, like I said before, Satan could care less about any of us. It's all about how he feels towards God.
Does Job fear God for nothing?
Mm,
Look at everything you've given him. Right?
yeah,
Oh, you're questioning my character.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that
Idiot.
hedge of protection you put around him. I've tried. I'm like
I
a
don't
velociraptor.
I don't think he
I
had.
can't get through the electric fence.
I don't think he'd ever tried. I don't think.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
How would he know that the hedge is there?
Well, because of all the stuff that Job has, obviously. I mean, look, you blessed him like crazy. I don't know.
It looks like he's
I mean, maybe
it
maybe
looks
he
like
had.
he's tested the fence a couple times.
Maybe he has. I don't know. That is a really good question.
Yeah. He has to have noticed it. I mean,
Yeah, do it.
whatever
I
a hedge
guess.
of protection looks like in the
Yeah.
spiritual world,
Right.
you know?
That's so funny. It's like acting like a little kid.
Yeah.
You've given him donkeys and mules and oxen.
You let him have 2 cookies and I only got 1 cookie. Right?
It's sounding very like
Petulant.
whiny.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, I mean,
you don't think about things like that, but for crying out loud, bro. Like,
but it also speaks to, Satan has been studying us. Even back then, he studied us for a long time. And he's obviously seen enough human behavior to know that a person's dependence on God is very dependent on their situation.
mm,
Is everything going well? Well, it's easy to be in love with God.
right.
And Satan's challenge is take everything away and we'll see how he feels about you now.
Right. Yeah. Stretch out your hands. This is another challenge to God, though, isn't it? Stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and surely he will curse you.
Yeah, and
He's telling God, like, hey, if you do something to him, he'll curse you.
yeah,
Jesus said when he had his discussion with Satan, he's like, don't challenge me.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. Don't do that.
hmm So God tells Satan, you have the authority.
Yeah.
Just the only thing you can't do is
Touch him.
touch him.
Yeah.
And that included his wife.
Right. 'Cause 2 or 1. Yeah. And
So-
then he went out.
So now there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. And a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding beside them when the Sabaeans raided them and took them away. Indeed, they have killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, the fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I alone have escaped to tell you. And while he was still speaking, another also came and said,
Stop.
okay,
One comes to you
yeah,
and says, oh my gosh, your house is on fire.
yeah,
Another guy comes up and he says, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this. Your garage is on fire. A third person is running up toward you. Wouldn't you be like, whoa, wait. Give me a second. I just
I gotta
can I hold on?
I have to process all this information.
Sorry, that's all I can picture. Every time I read this is one person's running up and he's like, hey, what's going on? All your animals are dead. Next person comes up, oh my gosh, all this happened. And then the third person, you're going, can you give me 5 seconds before you start? Anyway, while he was still speaking.
So another also came. No, hold on. The Chaldeans formed 3 bands, raided the camels, and took them away. Yes, and killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you.
And again.
Yeah. And while he was still speaking, another also came and said, your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. And suddenly a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck in the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they are all dead. And I alone have escaped to tell you. Job arose, tore his robe, and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and worshipped, and he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this, Job did not sin or charge God with wrong.
He has lost
Everything.
everything. And he had all the right to even be somewhat irritated. But instead, he gets down on the ground and he says, blessed be the name of the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, the movie Soul Surfer,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
She's bitten by a shark.
Right. Takes her arm
She's
off.
lost her arm. And in the movie, there was some poetic license taken. I mean, they talked to Bethany Hamilton about it, about their faith and all these other things that were taking place. And she talked about how when this first happened, she was like, there was a wavering moment. You know, it wasn't like all of a sudden just like everybody came together and it was like, oh, you know, you're still alive, so praise Jesus. It was a good struggle for a little while. In the
Yeah.
movie, they made it seem very quick because we don't have a certain amount of time.
Well, she lost almost all of her blood.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so there's a lot going on, and there were times when she was just like, there was some doubt there.
Yeah.
You know, it obviously worked itself back in, and, you know, she was able to pick her life back up and get some stuff figured out. But anyway, I'm not comparing losing an arm to losing everything that Job lost.
Yeah.
The reason I wanted to bring that up is everybody has different things that they're going through.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I don't want anybody to be like, that's blasphemy, because when you're first going through something, whatever it might be, I've been through some pretty devastating things.
Yes.
The first question that does come into your mind when you get a cancer diagnosis, I ask the question of like, why?
Right.
You know, I wasn't cursing God or anything like that, but I certainly didn't, hey, well, praise God, you know, my daughter has cancer. And immediately I started going into the how this and how that and how this and how that. I've talked to people that have gone through things and they were angry.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't like they were angry enough that like they cursed God. That's not what they did. They were angry. They had questions. They were frustrated. There was a lot of emotion happening with whatever situation is. And when it says that when Job, obviously, I mean, this is the most upsetting news you can possibly get.
You lost everything.
You've lost everything in one day, in a matter of 4 conversations, but he didn't sin and he didn't charge God with wrong. There's a lot to learn there.
There is. I mean, I picked this. It's the most extreme case.
Oh, it is.
of anybody who has gone through anything horrible and has suffered loss. And whether you believe that this is real, really happened, or if it's an ancient story or just a lesson, or I believe that everything in the Bible is true and it's not in there unless it really happened.
Right.
There's definitely allegory in the Bible, but there's also historical events as well, and I believe this is one of those. But I picked Job because, I mean, obviously of what we just went through.
Right.
You know, your family has gone through the ringer, so to speak. Seems like one tragedy after another.
For a while.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and then you
For
have
a while, it really was.
and now you have that minor inconvenience of your furnace not wanting to work, and then you've got some stuff going on at work, and it's like those are the kinds of things where if your relationship with God isn't settled and it's not secure, it can really throw a person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, my family's been through crazy things. You know, we've had loss, I mean, my brother John with his heart stuff for a while there. You know, my dad's had heart stuff. My stepmother is, you know, she's in that process of not really dying, but she's getting close. We see it on the horizon. It is kind of like a slow death in that way. My grandfather died from Alzheimer's, and, you know, that's like you lose him over and over again, you know,
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah.
that. And that's really hard. And we're no strangers to loss and to issues and challenges to our faith. We've been through some things as a family. My nephew Joshy and now all of a sudden this fire. And it's like, man, that's rough. And I'm gonna be totally honest. And I'm not just saying this to sound virtuous. I did not once at one point ask God, why did you do this to us?
No, in
I
fact,
just didn't.
you called me and you started to giggle.
Yeah.
You called me. This is Nate. I'm not even kidding. I get a phone call. I'm at Walmart.
I was sending you texts like, oh, really? You're all toasty, huh?
Well, so
my house caught on fire. What now?
I'm at Walmart. Ian tried to call me, but it didn't go through or something because I picked up my phone. I'm like, missed call. I didn't hear my phone go off or great nothing. And then you called and you're like, hey, guess what just happened today? And I could hear the commotion in the background, and I'm like, well, I don't do guessing games. I have no clue. I could come up with 100 different things. He's like, yeah, so my house caught on fire. And I'm like, what do you did you hear all the commotion? I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, that's the firefighters trying to put it out. It's not good. It's like, and I'm not even mad. I'm just watching what's happening. I'm not even mad. I'm like, I'm processing. I'm in front of I was looking for peanuts and cashews or something, I think, because we're gonna make noodles. And I'm standing there getting all those things and ring. Hey, what are you doing?
I process things way differently.
It was so funny. Because you started to giggle. And
yeah, I mean, that could have been some shock.
It could have been a little bit of shock, but but then you were just kind of like, yeah, but we all got out and we got all the animals. Everybody's safe. And you didn't even know what to say after that because you're just like, I just wanted to let you know that, we're going to go somewhere. And
you know what else I've been thinking a lot about, Casey? And I think we've had this conversation already, but I know I have with Ian. I find it curious that days after we make an announcement that we're going to have a conference,
my heat goes
about
out.
Israel.
Yeah,
everything hits the fan.
Yeah,
like, is that a coincidence?
You said it, and then I think that was the first time our heat went out, and then we got it fixed, and then the next day the heat went out, and then we got it fixed.
You've gotten it fixed 3 times.
It's something, and it was out for like a week. And then that Saturday, your house caught on fire. And then Sunday, they came and fixed the heat, and we've had heat ever since.
That's good.
I think that's right.
It's been cold.
Yeah, because it was the day after the fire, because I sent out that text saying, woohoo, we have heat. And I said, our house is at least, I was trying to be so careful with words.
Casey, that kind of stuff does not bother me.
I know that, but I was just like, I didn't want anybody else going, oh, look at that. Casey said his furnace, lit up, or
dude,
I was going to say, oh, we got that fired up. And I was like, no, I'm not going to say that.
Oh,
I had 50 different phrases go through my head, and I was like, I'll use toasty. And then you go down and said, yeah, my house was toasty on Saturday. I'm like, oh my gosh, like only Nate. Like, come on. Nobody else could have. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I could make people feel really bad. You have to know me, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I could have laid it on a lot thicker. Oh, at least you have a house.
Oh, and that's another reason I didn't want to bring it up
Yeah.
because I was like, oh man, he's
Well,
at least you have a house.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Casey. Like, we're supposed to be, as Christians, like, we're supposed to rejoice with those who rejoice,
Right.
and weep with those who weep.
Yep.
And if you have something that's like praiseworthy, then I want to be there to praise
Yep.
with you.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And I'm not. That's socialist.
Yeah.
People that get jealous of somebody else's good fortune, that's stinking socialism, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah. And a lot of times too, I think we get to a place where something's happening, but it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't say anything about it.
Yeah.
I remember when Amanda and I had our miscarriage, one of them, I talked to Will and he goes, I didn't know you were pregnant. And I said, well, we didn't want to tell everybody because the last time that we lost one, we got everybody all excited. Yeah. And then we lost the baby. And this was the end of the pregnancy too. And he goes, no. He said, you tell everybody you're pregnant and then we all rejoice. And then when you have a miscarriage, we mourn with you. He said, you'd never hold that as a secret. And after that, we never did. Because you do. I mean, it's a human thing my situation's not as bad as yours, so I'm not going to bring that up.
Why do we do that?
Because we're stupid.
We are.
There is a little bit of pride too, I think. But I think for the most part, people just think like, oh my gosh, Nate's house burnt down. They don't need to know that I don't have heat for a couple of days. What's the big deal? I mean, I can live without heat for a couple of days.
Well, yeah, perspective.
We also don't want to feel like we're adding I don't want to take a limelight.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the right word, but I took a limelight for you because you lost your house.
Sucks to be you. That's what I had.
But I stubbed my toe this morning. God, take that.
It's not a competition for who's having the worst day.
We should do that. That would be way more fun, don't you think?
Yeah.
Oh, I closed my finger on my car door. Oh yeah, well,
my house burned.
Crap, you win.
It's like I'm always gonna have that. I don't have a place to live for 3 months. Oh, you have a hole in your couch. Oh, it's the springs are coming out.
Your cat peed on the bathroom floor. Well, at least you have a bathroom.
Right?
You can say that every time.
Yeah.
I have a hole in the couch. I lost 3 of them.
Do you know, this is my biggest complaint for the whole thing. I lost my pillow.
Your favorite pillow.
You don't even know. It's like, it was the best pillow. It's like this memory foam, like super firm. It was just the most comfortable pillow I've ever had in my whole life.
If one of our listeners knows Mike Liddell, if you could get us a My Pillow, that'd be great.
Honestly, that's the biggest loss to me and the source of the most frustration.
Because you're not comfortable.
Yeah. We got pillows, $50 pillows, but it's not as good as my $75 pillow. I'm not just throwing money around like, wow, you guys buy really expensive pillows. I broke my back.
Right. This is the only pillow.
The standard cotton fill pillow does not help me at all.
I don't think there should be this much laughing about a house that's burnt.
Pillow. I mean, what can you do?
Nothing. Guys, look, I don't even know how I wanted to start that, but my brain just completely turned off. There are times when you go through something absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have this memory about something. And you can go from almost tearing up because of the stress of it, and then all of a sudden you're laughing. I've done that, and people look at me like, what are you laughing about? And I'm like, oh, you don't want to hear that.
It actually goes on in Job where he's got his 3 really good buddies, quote unquote,
my gosh.
And they start giving him a hard time because he's in a pretty good mood overall.
Right.
Like, they're like, why are you like, how come you're not more upset?
Right.
Something's wrong with you.
Well, they did the same thing to David.
Yeah.
David fasted while the baby was sick.
Yeah.
The baby dies. He gets up and goes and gets food.
Yeah. You can't change
And
now.
they're like, "Hey, what the heck? You were just mourning, 5 seconds ago."
Right.
He's like, "Yeah, well, there's nothing to mourn for now. He's gone."
Right.
Whatever your time frame is, you do eventually have to get there. I know people that have held on to those things. I work with a fella who his grandmother died 12 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
He was 7,
Wow.
and he still has like these overflowing 14 years ago. Anyway, overflowing emotions. And I looked at him and I said, I mean, I get it. You loved your grandmother, but you were 7.
Yeah.
And from 7 till now, you've had these really great experiences, but you're letting that one situation 14 years ago overshadow all of this really good stuff over a stretch of 14 years. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do. This is what I've told the kids that I worked with at Kids Peace. I call them my kids because they were my kids.
They were your kid.
And this is what I tell my clients now. And Keisha, if you're listening, she's going, like that.
Because she's a Southern girl.
She is. I'll say, when you're walking down the sidewalk and you have your head
Over your shoulder.
cranked over your shoulder and you're looking behind you, you're still walking forward. You can't see what's coming at you, but you're so focused on everything that happened back there.
Mm-hmm. You're missing everything.
You're missing everything. What's to stop you from falling? You're going to trip.
Yeah.
You're going to walk into something you shouldn't walk into.
Yep.
Because you're focused on back there.
We always say that, like, if you're looking over your shoulder, you could walk into a sign, but what about all those good things?
Yeah, exactly.
You just missed the ice cream man.
Right.
Who was, all the kids ran up and you just kept looking behind.
Well, there's something about modern day psychology that says in order for you to heal, you have to keep exploring what happened to you back in the past.
Yeah.
You
over
have to,
and over
you
and
have
over.
to relive it over and over and over again until what?
Until it eats you up and it spits you out on the ground and you're just a blob on the ground that feels sorry for themselves.
And it gives your clinician, no offense, Matt, basically license to see you forever.
Yeah.
You're going to need a therapist for the rest of your life in that case.
Yeah.
Whereas a therapist should be somebody that helps you work through a problem and sets you on a path where you can function again. I mean, seems like that's the way it should be.
Right.
And it's just, we all go through hard times. I think a lot of times people compare, like we were just joking about, we compare our bad situation to somebody else's situation and we compare how bad it was. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So I can act like a jerk because I've had it worse than you. That doesn't work.
Have you seen that Disney movie?
Which one?
The Feels.
Oh,
it's Inside Out.
Yeah, Inside Out.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, go on YouTube, watch honest trailers Inside Out. Because at the very end, the guy goes, "The Fields." That movie really does explain psychology.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Oh, I've seen it.
There are parts of it that I really like, but
yeah.
I
love Anger. He's my favorite.
Oh man, Anger's the best.
Oh, he's me.
But
sorry.
But no, but I was not watching the movie because I was driving. So Amanda had it playing in the van. And as this, when you're watching it the first time, you're like, oh, this is a pretty good movie. If you just listen to the movie, don't watch it. You just listen, have it on in the background. Don't watch it. Every single phrase that comes, you're like, whoa, that's horrible. That is the most terrible. I mean, because at the end of it, you realize like you don't have any responsibility because your feelings are making you do this.
Well, they literally have the feelings are literally set up in a control room.
Yeah, they're making you do these things, so you have no control over your body.
Right.
But there are just so many different reactions from, like, even when the parents are talking, and you're like, you need to get punched in the face. Like, what in the world are you guys teaching your kid? And then you got the feelings that are doing and there's like no good advice. It's a terrible, terrible movie. Anyway, I was just thinking about that as you were talking
Yeah.
about,
No,
how
you're right.
how we react to different things and the
Yeah.
things that we miss out on and all those things. I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds just like Inside Out, because that's what psychology does. I don't know if they want to see you back over and over again, but they certainly do not know how to get to the root issue.
No.
They're dealing with your feelings.
the
Well,
root-
it's not my feelings that are the problem.
The root issue is this, and it comes out of the Bible, is that the heart is desperately wicked.
Right.
And out of the mouth issues the things from the heart.
Right.
And it's mostly not good, not good stuff.
I like how Ken Graves said it one time. He was doing the reading about something from the bowels. And Ken Graves stops and he goes, in his voice, I'm not going to be able to do his voice, but he's like, have you ever been in that situation where you're about ready to do something and there's just something in that lower intestine that makes you go, I probably shouldn't do that. He goes, that's what you listen to. Not your feelings, not your, because I love how Ken's
Your
like,
gut.
not your feelings and not your heart.
Listen to your gut.
He's like, man, if your gut is telling you, don't do that. Or if it's like, yeah, you need to move into this direction. He goes, you need to be listening to that. And I'm just like, wow, it's just the way he said it, because we hang so much on our feelings.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel, and that's why I hate whenever we've texted back and forth. I'm like, I don't have a better word other than saying I feel like, because we don't know a better way to say it.
Right.
And maybe someday we will, but I don't know.
I think someday we're not going to have to communicate with words at all. Honestly.
Mind melt.
That's how we will know as we have been known. I think mostly what our voices will be used for is praising God. Isn't that cool? Think about.
Yeah.
I love it.
Same. So something my brain went into when you were talking about how weird the week was, we brought up that we wanted to do this conference and then heat and the fire. So we started thinking about coming up here from Surrey, Maine, moving up to this area because we weren't sure where we were moving. And that was back in 2024, and then all kinds of things were happening. When we finally made the decision, this is what we're going to do, that's when Joshy passed.
Yep.
We hadn't moved up here yet, and then that winter was ridiculous. We were,
it was cold.
Well, in the snow in our area, we weren't able to go anywhere. So for a long time, we didn't make it up here.
Yep.
And then we got into the house in March, and that was a whirlwind of trying to get everything into that garage. That was redonkulous. That
move was hard.
That was so.
I don't think I've ever walked up and down stairs more than that particular move.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how or why you guys need that many books.
We have a lot of books.
It's like the Bangor Public Library moved to your house.
We have a lot of books.
Do you read them all?
I've read a lot of them.
Do you have to keep them?
Well, that's something. It's like the movies we have.
I get it.
Have you seen our movies?
Yeah, I get it.
Did you see the disc gears? You've seen them in the laundry room. They're these cylindrical plastic things, and they can hold need DVDs. I know how many that is. I'm just not saying it out loud because it's embarrassing. So we've been thinking, like, do we just become a library? I mean, do people rent DVDs anymore? Anybody want to rent some DVDs? We can put them in a case and send them out. You can send them back. It'll be like Netflix, only we have a limited selection.
Casey's Cuts.
And then all of a sudden, and then there's other things, and we were discovering that there were problems with the house. The part that really gets me, after you made the announcement that that's what we wanted to do is do a conference, and my heat went out. Just before the heat went out, I said, yeah, our heat went out, but they fixed it like almost immediately. And you're like, oh yeah, no, we had to do all this crazy weird stuff for our heat and the this and that, and we had to do this insulation. Remember you were telling me, and then my heat went out, and then you're like, oh crud, so we're going to try to get some space heaters. And I said, well, by that point we're going to have somebody at the house, not a big deal. And then that next week is when your house caught on fire, and then our heat went out again. The weather has been brutally cold. We had -8. I was out in the cold for 2 hours waiting for an operator to show up, and I was telling customers that we weren't open. But that happened 2 times on very extremely cold days. But yeah, no, it's just been one thing after another since we got into this new year.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a whirlwind of how many more punches in the face do I have to take before they realize that we're serious about this? And it's just not going to stop us.
Oh,
That's what I'm not like, how many more punches can I take before I give up? That's
it
not
might
what it
push
is
it
at all.
back a week or two, but
It may, but I'm just saying, like, it's not deterring me
no,
from the end result of we're doing a podcast, we're doing this conference.
I'm still excited about
Oh,
it.
dude.
I mean, honestly, like the conference itself is all planned out on paper.
Yeah.
And now we just have to put the pieces together and make it all happen.
Yep.
I'm really excited about it. I really hope we see people interested, and please respond to our invitation to RSVP. We're planning on having some really good food. It would be really helpful to know who's coming so we know how much to purchase, how many plates, we're going to be serving, that sort of thing. That's just trying to be a good steward. We're not just going to make like 200 meals and then not have anybody show up.
Right.
So,
We'll have signups and all kinds of stuff. We'll have stuff on Facebook. Amanda's making invitational type of papers or whatever. So she's working on all those things.
I mean, obviously, like if anybody's at the church who's interested, they can come. But I really want this to be primarily for people who listen. You guys are the ones who have invested this much time into our show. We want to do something special for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a celebration, really. We talk about this every single time before we turn on the recorder, that we're just blown away that we've done this many episodes. We're not monetizing right now, probably not for a while. You know what I've noticed, Casey? There's not a lot of people that are doing this kind of show like we are.
No. It's either comedy only, even if they're Christians. It's mostly just comedy. There's no reading the word, explaining the word, bouncing those ideas off from one another.
Any kind of religious podcast, is basically a pastor's sermon on Sunday turned into podcast form.
Yep.
Or some kind of more focused in studio kind of topical conversation. I haven't heard of anybody else doing a verse by verse through a book of the Bible.
Right.
Kind of set up like what we're doing.
Right.
We're literally doing a home Bible study.
Right.
In a podcast format.
Yep.
And it's been a blast.
Absolutely.
And it's introduced us to different people. It's kind of taken us to some places that were fun.
Yep. And some places where we're a little uncomfortable.
Yep. For sure.
I mean, so one more story for the fun of it.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about last Wednesday.
Okay.
So I was at work and I tripped over a floor tile that has been pulling up out of the floor for quite some time now. And everybody knows about it. I mean, this thing was wobbly. This time was different. I tripped over it because it was about a half an inch above the other tiles. I'm a maintenance person, so my job is safety of areas, cleaning machines, making sure everything's running smoothly. So I lifted the tile and there was debris under the tile.
Mm-hmm.
The original sealant around the tile was starting to break up and was also under the tile. So I start clearing out all of that tile, all the sealant, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, I got to put this tile back on the floor. But every time I turned it, it wasn't falling flush with the other tiles. It was still up. So I'm like looking at my boss and I'm like, why isn't this settling in at least so that it's not a half an inch off the floor? I mean, maybe a little, but like this is really off the floor. He got a little snappy, and more words than I'm going to say. He said I was wasting time and I had more important things to do. And I made it more unsafe. So I made it more unsafe. I was wasting time and I had other more important things to do, which I didn't. I had no other tasks other than some normal cleaning stuff, but I didn't have any major time consuming. Like, if you give me the tools and tell me where those tools are, I can fix this, and I can probably fix it in 15 minutes. In the past, in my younger years, when I would have gotten angry because of a situation like that, in my BC days, it would have been elevated anger and some very choice words. I would have been right in using some of the things against this person, like you showed up 2 hours late when you were supposed to be here when I was here to open the doors and get started, but you're going to tell me that I'm wasting time. So I literally stood up and said, my job is the maintenance man. And my job also entails the safety of the rest of the coworkers in this building. If I'm wasting your time, then I don't need to be here. So I'm going to go home and I'll see you tomorrow. And I was very calm about it. I didn't realize how calm I was about it until the next day when I showed up. And one of my coworkers said, wow, you really are here. I said I would be. And they said, I have never had the opportunity to see someone stand up in such a calm manner as you did and say, since I'm not needed here right now, I'm going to go home and I'll see you tomorrow. She goes, in what world does that happen? I mean, everybody was laughing about it because they all realized that this manager was in the wrong. I did show up the next day. And I even yesterday put in about 4 hours and 10 minutes just because on Saturday they don't have a maintenance person. So I did some maintenance stuff yesterday. That being said, there are things that take place in our everyday life. Was it Chuck Swindoll who said, I believe the things that happen in my reaction, it's 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it, right? Is that about? I think that's right. I think that's right. What he's trying to say is, yep, there's bad things that happen, but if you sat back and thought about it, how bad was that thing that happened? And how much did you elevate in your reaction to the situation? So to take that back to Job, in my opinion, he had all the right to at least have freaked out about any of those situations because none of those situations were tiny. He lost everything. Now, even if it was just the first person, that would have been enough to at least been upset. But then the second person comes. He had all the opportunity to be upset. Third person, fourth person. And he lays down on the ground and he's just like, blessed be the name of the Lord. I mean, I was mad. I was really angry. But I chose at that moment, I'll see you tomorrow. On my way home, I'm like, I prayed and I was like, look, I got angry. And I was really like, thank you for not letting me stick my foot in my mouth because I would have. Everybody's like, well, you could have had a conversation. I said, if I had a conversation, it would not have gone that well.
Would have exacerbated the situation.
It would have been bad. Your brain does that, right? You're going to go to a meeting with the heads of the department, but it didn't sound like it was going to be a good meeting. So in your head, you plan out 20 different conversations.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you do this, but I'll plan out what is the nicest thing I can say if they say this. What's the nicest thing I can say if they say this, right? Because I don't want to elevate a situation, but my brain will also play out those other ones.
Yeah.
Oh, if they say this, I'm going to drive my foot right down on their throat.
Yeah. See, my brain, it does it differently. I'm one of those people who goes over the conversation that I just had, but I rehash it and I think of all the things that I could have said or should have said, not the things that I did say.
Right.
I dwell on conversations that never happened.
Oh, yeah.
And then I get emotional and all worked up about
nothing.
About nothing, literally. It's all in my own imagination.
Yeah. You made it all up, and you're mad at yourself.
So I wanted to read you something, Casey.
Do it.
Ephesians 6, verse 5. Bondservants, be obedient to those who are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in sincerity of heart as to Christ, not with eye service as men pleasers, but as bondservants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, with good will doing service, as to the Lord and not to men, knowing that whatever good anyone does, he will receive the same from the Lord, whether he is a slave or free. So just wanted to give you that encouragement and reminder, as sucky as it can be sometimes, we work for God. And what you said, the way that your coworkers reacted to how you responded, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. I didn't want to make a scene because there were 3 other coworkers there. And I was like, I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
Because I needed to cool down. There are times, oh gosh, where I've gotten angry enough where you feel the heat on the top of your head, in your ears. You feel like, okay, everybody else can see my ears on fire, right? Like you can, you get so angry. Like, does that happen to you? Do your ears feel like they're on fire?
No, not so
Dude.
much my ears.
Oh, my
but
ears, but the top of my head, I can almost feel the sweat pouring down, and I'm like, I'm gonna say something stupid. I'm going to go home. It didn't get there. I just kind of went, I'm
Mine's
like,
like
this
a
is my
full.
job.
Mine tends to be a full body smolder. My adrenaline will spike.
My
Like,
fingers will shake
yeah,
and my voice will quiver. It's like I need
I lose
sugar.
all the blood in my hands, and my hands start getting
Get
cold.
clammy. But
It's
yeah,
like I'm getting ready
but
for.
like I said, I didn't get there.
Mm,
I just stated what my job was. I said, look, this is my job. My job is to keep everybody safe. One thing I did want to say was, why are you not helping me make this safer? So the next day I go to work, and on the floor where that tile was a great big piece of cardboard box, and it was taped to the floor. And I went, I could have done that. Come find out, the GM did that. And that person complained the entire time. People heard this person say, why am I doing this? Why do I have to be the one to do this?
yeah,
Because I wasn't allowed to.
that's,
You know,
that's what it comes down to.
we do. We have situations, things happen, our reactions can be all wrong. I'm not saying it was right for me to walk out, but I'm glad I did it the way I did it.
Yeah.
That I didn't slam a door. You know, I didn't go on a rampage. I did
Sometimes...
I had to go back because I forgot my coffee cup. I walked right back and I forgot my coffee cup.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to do that. Every place I've ever worked at says, you're allowed to take mental health days. The whole thing is, though, is everybody, no matter where they work, whether it's sweeping floors or stapling papers, we all have situations where we work and people that we work with that can be less than desirable. We all have to deal with that kind of stuff. The uniform might change, but it's still the same heart condition.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah.
It's like we were just talking about earlier. Like, what's the point of comparing your bad day to somebody else's bad day?
Right. Exactly. Yep.
I mean, everybody experiences bad days. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope that we concluded this in a way that helps people understand God loves us. Maybe we do need to say this part. God doesn't allow us to go through these things because he hates us. He allows us to go through these things because he loves us. And the world is watching to see how we react and how we respond to hard things. Isn't that the measure of a man?
Ooh, yeah.
To go through something hard and to come out on the other side sharpened.
Right.
Like steeled up. Our relationship with God stronger, not weaker. These things are kind of an opportunity for us to purify ourselves and really figure out. I haven't blamed God for what happened.
Right.
God didn't do that, but
right.
he allowed it. I'm not really sure why, but that's besides the point. The thing that I've really recognized is I've had conversations with people and they've really commended me for my resilience and I can't believe you're doing so well. And it's like, well, it's not me. I have faith in God and I know God's going to take care of us. That kind of thing. It's an opportunity to witness all over again. I just wanted to let everybody know the whole point of this is the world is watching us and it really does matter.
Right.
How we react and how we respond. Because to the average person in the world, like this is a horrible tragedy.
Right.
Right? How are you doing? Like how do you get up every day? And it's because I live for something so much greater than stuff. My identity is not in the stuff that I own. That was on my heart today for this week. And I know it's a departure from Romans, but every once in a while we do this. And I think it was appropriate today.
Yeah.
Mostly, I think it was mostly for myself.
Yeah.
I had those things on my heart and I needed to talk about them and I wanted Ian to hear what my thoughts were.
Well, I think it's important that, we've talked about it before about being real. And you don't know, there could be a listener out there that's just like really feeling squashed like a bug.
Yeah.
Maybe their house didn't catch on fire, but maybe their car engine flooded and they were trapped in the middle of nowhere, this, that, and the other thing. And maybe they didn't have any money for groceries this week or something. I mean, there's a whole number of things that take place that we have no idea.
Right.
And so hopefully this was just a blessing for other people. I mean, our pain and misery, it should be shared. We shouldn't just like we said about comparing, whatever pain you're going through, that's the pain that you're going through. We can't compare. Just because someone's car broke down, but someone's house caught on fire, those can be equally devastating for that individual. Right?
Exactly.
You can't say, oh, my car, all that happened was my car flooded. Yeah, but how much did it cost you to do that?
Yeah.
Did you have to get a rental too? Could you figure that part out? Did the insurance cover it? You still have a whole bunch of paperwork you got to fill out, right?
Yeah. It's all overwhelming.
It is.
If
it's the one thing
yeah,
you rely on this vehicle to get you to work. You had that happen, in fact.
I did.
Just a little while ago
I
too,
did.
for crying out loud. You
Yeah.
know, it's so again, not comparing, not taking someone else's. we've talked about
and my
that.
tarp shed blew away.
I actually, I was gonna bring that up a little because of how we laughed about that.
It's one of those things where it's just like, it's gonna happen to me. It's gonna happen to me. It's just the way it is.
I mean, so
I'm gonna laugh about it.
Yeah,
I have to laugh about it.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, the whole walking out and going back to work, I laughed about that for 2 days with people. I mean, people were coming up to me, other managers are coming up to me and like, hey, so I heard what happened. Tell me what happened again. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, things are things. I hope that was a blessing. I hope our laughing about things and, we were laughing and all those things.
Nobody has it worse than Job.
Golly.
Nobody had it worse than Job.
No, his was by far the most devastating.
As far as earthly people.
Right.
Jesus had it.
Jesus had it far worse. Yeah.
He had it the worst.
Yeah. There's
as far as non-deities are concerned.
Yeah. In a human way.
Yeah.
Can you think of something worse than everything that he had happen in one day?
It's been driving me crazy. The last podcast I mentioned Darius. There was a conversation about how Darius was predicted. It wasn't Darius, it was Cyrus.
Something.
We were talking about how it's important to do your own homework and not just take anybody else's word for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're riffing back off each other, stuff just comes out.
Yeah.
And I was close. I was close, but I wasn't right. I knew I said something wrong, and I went and looked it up, and it wasn't actually Darius that was the one that was predicted. It was Cyrus.
Okay.
So, and this is the second time I've corrected myself.
There you go.
I want you guys to know that I do actually study and read the Bible, and sometimes we all do. We make mistakes. Everybody.
Well, I mean, for crying out loud, I've heard other pastors, they'll say, so we're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 7. Nope, that is not where we're going. And they don't edit it. It's in there.
Yeah.
And they're just laughing about it or whatever.
We're just people.
Pastor Zach is the pastor of Miami Calvary Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
Right now he's in Samuel. And the thing that makes him laugh the most, and he starts giggling before he reads it, is whenever he gets to when Samuel saw Saul, he just loses. He goes, sorry, because we laugh about this at home. So yeah, it is important. It really is. I've pronounced names wrong when we were reading in Chronicles. Was it Chronicles chapter 1 with all those names? And I'm just kind of like, okay, first breath, we're just going to go for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Genealogy.
I don't know who that is. Like I said, though, I do hope that this somehow, some way did help someone who's going through something, because we're all going through something.
All of us.
All the time. And share it. Don't be like some people. They're like, oh, people don't need to hear my problems. No, that's not true. People need to hear your problems.
There's a difference between sharing your problems with a trusted brother or sister and bleeding on people.
Right. If you're just like, oh man,
there's a disciple song called Misery.
Yeah.
That's your homework, everybody.
There you go.
You might not like loud Christian rock music, but if you look up the lyrics for the disciple song Misery, do that.
If you're going through something and you just walk up to someone and you're just like, I got to share with you, I'm really just struggling. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Or, man, I had a hard week because of this.
Yep.
But it's a whole nother thing when you, and then you go to the next person and do it again. And you go to the next person and do it again.
You don't want solutions. You just want to be able to vent and complain.
Then you get the people who every single Sunday share the exact same sin.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe I did this again. I can't believe I did this again. I can't believe. Stop it.
It's time to make some lifestyle changes. If that's the case.
But yeah, no, if you're going through something, it's okay to walk up to someone and be like, hey, I just need to get this off my chest.
Yeah.
I've been really struggling. That is not complaining. You're just trying to throw something out there for someone to maybe catch it. Who knows? Maybe there's someone else that's going through it like you are, and you're like, oh man, so am I. How are you getting through this? That's how conversations start, and that's how
Exactly.
friendships get bonded and
Yeah.
things like that. So it's really
I
important.
know that's what we've been doing ever since
Yeah.
the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're brutally honest with each other. And when I say brutal, I'm not kidding.
And I take no offense.
Oh, good. I was feeling a little raw this morning, just so you know.
So let me say this too. If you're texting somebody and you're just sharing things back and forth, whatever side of the conversation you're on, just remember that it's a text.
Yeah.
You're not getting facial expressions. You're not getting an attitude behind the text. So if
That's why they make
someone's
those emojis.
if someone's sending you a text message, maybe they accidentally hit the capitalization thing and it just came out all
Sounds like
capitals.
it's yelling.
It doesn't mean they're yelling at you.
Yeah.
And if they say something that it seems a little snappy, it may not really be snappy.
Don't read tone.
You can't read a tone. We say this 100 times, I feel like, not us personally, but everybody says it. You just never know who's going through what. So just share and glean and move on.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
God is good. God is on the
good.
throne.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't going to last forever. It's not.
Right.
Yeah. So we just thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for listening. And this has been Take Me Deeper. I am Casey Hill.
And I am Nate Dudley.
And God bless each and every one of you.
Grace and peace. Sorry. Edit.
You're meant to be like I come in a storm and share your love. Walk with me, I'm pursued like a dark cloud. Brought my life, made it to the end of love. Landed my life. Sweet Messiah, come and rescue me. Holy, triumphant King of majesty, honor and power, glory be. Jesus, take my heart. Lord Jesus, take my heart. Lord Jesus, take my heart. And bring me to life.
I don't know what you want from me. I can't take direction.
Bald eagle.
Sweet. Yeah. I don't. Oh, I see it.
That is beautiful.
So great, isn't it?
I love it. Sorry.
No, you're good. Squirrel.
Edit.
But you know, when you that was you. I love the funny shows. Don't get me wrong.
It's me. I think we need to get new cables. But yeah, I mean, room.
But anyway, no, we do.
I'm never gonna not say that.
Room. Noise cancellation off. Stuff like that.
Noise cancellation
on. Anyway, that's all right. Oh, we're auto-tuned. Well, never mind. I was gonna start singing.
Yeah,
don't do it. Oh man. So yeah.
Sorry. Edit.
That is it for today. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and thank you for tuning in on the live. Again, if you want to donate to the fundraiser that I have, this is for the Take Me Deeper podcast. You can go to ko-fi.com/. Daniel's Christian Content. So that's ko-fi.com/Daniel's Christian Content. Thank you so much, and God bless.